MLB will absolutely hate what the Toronto Blue Jays are about to do as following. It was an unbelievable game one of the World Series against the Dodgers. We have some huge brand new updates that have come out ahead of game two, but not only that, we have some major updates on the future of Bo Bichette that changes a lot surrounding not only this World Series run and what it means in the next few days, but beyond that as well. Not only that, we have a bunch of other updates, including some comments from Atkins revealing the truth behind a lot of the moves they made ahead of what's going to be a crucial game two tonight. But before we get into it all, ladies and gentlemen, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable. And folks, this is hopefully the beginning of a very exciting World Series, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Folks, man, oh man, was it a crazy game yesterday. I'm going to dive into a bunch of other updates ahead of tonight's game. We now know who the starter is going to be. But first, I want to dive into some comments that dropped last night into, before the game yesterday, even into this morning about, of course, Bo Bichette and his future in Toronto. And folks, let's dive into it. Bo Bichette was asked recently about balancing free agency with the World Series. And stay tuned. We're going to have some updates ahead of tonight's game as well here that are pretty important. But we're going to start with this. I've said it before. My goal is to stay here for my entire career. But right now, I don't have time to think about that. I got to go out there and do everything I can to help the team win. And of course, Bo playing at second base obviously shows he's a team first guy. Whether or not he'd be willing to play that next year full time, obviously we'll have that discussion once the season ends and hopefully the Jays are World Series champions. But folks, he now has doubled down once again on the fact that he wants to stay in Toronto for the rest of his career, which is massive because this is going to be one of the biggest storylines. Whether or not the Jays win the World Series, like whether they win it or lose it, it doesn't matter. Like obviously it matters a ton, but for surrounding Bo Bichette, I think they're going to try to bring him back anyway, right? And I think from Bo Bichette's perspective, I think making it to the World Series is the biggest. It was one of the biggest stepping stones for him returning to the Blue Jays. And let me know down below what your thoughts are, because obviously winning the World Series would be unbelievable. And I think getting here, like whether they win the World Series or lose the World Series, I think most of us will be happy either way. At this point, I want to win it all, and I won't even be. It still feels like a dream we're even here. But as it pertains to Bo Bichette being a free agent, you can see this here, getting to the World Series, pretty much guaranteed Bo staying. He has said time and time again that he values winning more than money. He wants to play with Vlad forever, and it's pretty obvious he loves playing in front of this crowd. No other team is going to give you the same opportunity. Of course, this tweet was from before yesterday's win, and again, I think they're going to win the World Series. I'm all in on that. But for the future of Bo Bichette, the Jays are going to try to bring him back because they are of the mindset now of this team is so good and they did so much with him during the regular season. Then without him down the stretch into the playoffs, this is a game changer. And then, of course, you go for someone else. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this, because this is very good news. If the Jays can get Bo Bichette locked up long-term, add some other guys. I don't want to speak about, of course, the offseason yet, but I wanted to bring this up. And speaking about, of course, him being added to the roster, Bo Bichette said on his return coming into game one, "It's crazy. I'm looking forward to the challenge. At the end of the day, I've worked my whole life for this, so I'm excited." He looked great at second base. Now, whether or not they use him at second base today is yet to be seen. You're going up against a righty in Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is elite. I think they throw him back out there. I think they run the same lineup, minus, of course, basically the same lineup they've been running the rest of the series against righties, right? That seems to be with Nathan Lucas in there, of course, Addison Barger in there, Versho. You throw Bichette in there instead of, IKF or, whoever else would have been in there. So very interesting. And then Atkins said that adding Bichette to the roster was simply based on talent and health. Felt like he was in a good enough position to help our team win and make us better. And folks, boy, was he ever. He had a very good game, both defensively and offensively. And of course, they took him out of the game in the sixth. That's one of the biggest things here. I don't love the fact that they're hitting him cleanup if they're willing to pinch run for him that early in the game, such as the sixth inning. It kind of opens up the spot for a little bit of people can start to pitch around Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? If you pinch hit IKF for Bo Bichette right in the sixth inning. So maybe we see against the righty, Bo Bichette move down to the sixth hole or seventh hole or something like that, just to give them some more buffer rooms. That way they don't, if they do want to, let's say it's a 2-2 game tonight, and the Bo Bichette gets on and you need a faster runner because it's a go-ahead runner or tying runner, then you can pinch hit for him or pinch run for him in this case, and then it wouldn't be right behind Vladdy. So the Dodgers' horrible bullpen can pitch around him, right? Just something to keep an eye out on ahead of tonight's game. And feel free to also pause this. This was John Schneider about Bo Bichette and his willingness to play anywhere. Apparently, it was Bo's idea to play second base. Bo's idea to really be open to doing whatever, both physically and, of course, Jimenez has been elite at shortstop. keep this in mind as we look into the future of Bichette and whether or not he'll be playing at second base. But folks, let's dive into some of the updates ahead of tonight's very special game. Now, we know you're going up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and for the Blue Jays side of things, they are starting Kevin Gausman in game 2. Now, this is pretty obvious, obviously, right? With Trey Savage going game 1, you had to save a lot of key bullpen arms in game 1 for, of course, game 2. They used Braden Fisher, they used Eric Lauer, they used Chris Bassett. And Chris Bassett looks like a different beast out of that bullpen. Unbelievable. But you save Jeff Hoffman. You save Louis Verland, who was ready to pitch his 100th game in a row. You save a lot of your high leverage arms for tonight's game. Folks, the plan is pretty clear here. You get to the Dodgers bullpen, you can win the game. They did it with Blake Snell. Obviously, Dave Popkins has completely, revolutionized this Jays approach, right? And really rejuvenized this entire fan base and team. So if you can get to their starters early, you'll be great for the, for the bullpen. Now, for games 3 and 4, John Schneider says he's still working through it. An update on Max Scherzer. Yesterday, he threw a side session at Rogers Center in their bullpen. He is a candidate to start game 3 or 4 at Dodger Stadium next week. Scherzer went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks. Something interesting here. Scherzer, of course, he had a really solid start against the, last time against the Mariners. They didn't announce Shane Bieber, and Shane Bieber pitched game 7. He hasn't looked great in the playoffs, right? Now, you're obviously going to go down with your guys. I think it's a matter of Bieber in game 3 or Bieber in game 4 because it's not going to be Chris Bassett or Eric Lauer. They both pitched yesterday, and it would have only been probably Bassett. I think they're trying to figure out whether it's Bieber game 3 or Scherzer game 3. And it's a very interesting question. I think ultimately they'll go with Bieber game 3 and then Scherzer game 4, and they'll announce it today. But let me know down below what you would do. Obviously, last time Scherzer played against the Dodgers, he went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. Very respectable. Even Trey going 4 innings, 2 runs. And I think he's almost doubled Trey Savage this year. His professional innings, doubled what he's ever done before, right? So 2 times the amount this year that he's ever done. His arm is definitely fatigued. It's tired. But shout out to him. Scherzer, shout out to him as well. I think they're going to be, I think it'll be Bieber, Scherzer, but let me know down below what your guys' thoughts are on that. A couple other things here before I wrap up. There's obviously a lot to get to. The Fox crew were heard saying on the broadcast that this is the loudest stadium they have ever heard. And obviously having all the broadcasters come in, like I mentioned in my post-game video yesterday, the Yankees guys, tons of people right into the city, in our city of Toronto. It's getting a lot of recognition. And I think ultimately, since this video is talking a little bit about, the future of this team, but also, of course, ahead of the World Series tonight, this has to be a positive factor in attracting free agents. I think the Jays are going to go out and do what they've been trying to do for the past few years and really land a big fish in this upcoming year. Not going to talk about that yet because, of course, we're still trying to win a World Series. But this has been a special year for a ton of reasons and a special game yesterday where basically everything went right for the team. And this was the first team to beat the Dodgers in game 1 in the last 6 tries. So, folks, let me know down below what your thoughts are. You guys are absolute beast of the support. They got chanting, "We don't need you to show hate." Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. A lot of updates coming. We'll keep you up to date every step of the way. And we might even see some Ty France action here soon because Ross Atkins was quoted saying that he's got an incredible position physically and has gotten back to an incredible position physically, and has looked really good in all of his live at-bats. And he's a good matchup against this team. We might see him in there. We might see Bo back at second base tomorrow. Let me know down below your thoughts. You guys are beasts. Cheers.